Hello, welcome back here into Caden's Weather Center. Today is August 30th, 2025, and in this video we're going to be paying attention to the tropics, not on the Atlantic side today, but the Eastern Pacific side, as we're continuing to pay attention to a possible tropical system going south of the Hawaiian Islands here, according to the GFS and the European model. Euro bringing it closer to the Hawaiian Islands than the GFS. We'll dig deeper into the models later on in this video. That could bring some hazard beach conditions to the Hawaiian Islands, so we're going to dig deeper into that later on. Also touching a little bit on the Atlantic, why is it so quiet at this time of year as we're heading into the peak of the hurricane season, as well as paying attention to a possible flash flooding threat here for the central part of the United States. Let's hop right into the video. So let's take a look here right now around the United States. What are we kind of looking at? Well, we're kind of seeing, a lot of that rainfall kind of here in the central part of the United States. We're expecting to see that kind of continue as we head into, the next couple of hours. We're really going to start seeing that flash flooding potential. Our flash flooding potential is really going to be kind of in these general areas kind of down here in Texas and also parts of the central part here of the United States. We're going to be paying attention to that because that is our biggest area where we could be seeing some of that flash flooding threat. Now, I wouldn't rule out a couple maybe flash flood problems as well down here in the southeast due to some of that heavy amounts of rainfall continuing in Georgia, South Carolina, and then even heading into the Florida Peninsula. But as you can see already later, earlier this morning and right now actually of the recording of this video, we have flash flood warnings continuing on here in the Louisiana area just because of how much heavy rain is kind of just sticking around and not moving very quickly. That's what's going to be leading to some of that heavy amount of rainfall that just falls constantly every hour here. So we're going to be paying attention to that. So right now, taking a look here at the United States here, the satellite kind of picture, we can obviously see this is our area where we're seeing a lot of that, potential rainfall right there. That's bringing that flash flooding threat. A lot of rainfall continuing on over here in the Texas Panhandle, even heading into central Texas. That's going to eventually make its way down over here down to the southeast. That's going to take a little bit for it, though, and as well, a lot of convection off the coast of the United States here. We can clearly see a lot of convection also here in the northern Gulf. A lot of that rainfall potentially could be heading into the Florida Peninsula here as we head into Labor Day weekend. We're going to be paying attention to that very, very closely. Now, for today, we don't have any severe weather threat. Now, scattered thunderstorms could be expected, especially down here in the southeast later today. We could be seeing a little bit of those scattered showers, thunderstorms that could bring some of that flash flooding potential, but not too much right now at that time. But let's take a look here at the Northwest. What are we looking at right now? Well, we can clearly see with the HRRR model, Washington, Oregon looking very quiet, as well as Idaho, seeing that. Majority of the rain is on the eastern side here of you guys, and that's kind of what we're paying attention to. Now, we will be seeing a little bit of those changes here. As we can see on the coast, we have some of that rainfall potential here off the coast here of Oregon and even Washington. We're going to be seeing a lot of that. So maybe beach conditions could be a little, not the best as we head into the next couple of hours later today and maybe into this evening. But you can see a lot of that rainfall continuing on in South Dakota and North Dakota right now, and that is expected to continue on for the next couple of hours right there. Now, heading down into the southwest, we obviously saw, in the last video a couple days ago, we've seen a lot of that rainfall from the post-tropical cyclone that was in the eastern Pacific. That is all gone now, so now we're expecting some drier conditions, especially as we have a high pressure kind of built up over here. So that's something we're going to continue to watch. Now, high pressure will move away. We're going to start seeing a little bit more scattered showers and thunderstorms stretching through Colorado and New Mexico, and that's just going to be bringing kind of like sea breeze thunderstorms just like for Florida, but we can definitely see some scattered showers, thunderstorms that will eventually make its way over here to the southeast. Heading into the northern part of the United States, what are we looking at here? We can see that there's a high pressure. This morning we're seeing that high pressure built over here, and we've been seeing that over here for the last couple days. That's bringing a lot of dry conditions here for parts of the northeast and kind of just the Ohio Valley area. But now that's going to be moving out here pretty soon. We're going to kind of see it. It will weaken slightly, but a lot of that rainfall is still going to be hanging out here in the central part of the United States as we go throughout today. We're expecting some scattered showers, thunderstorms also as we head into Nebraska and maybe even parts of Kansas, and then that will eventually make its way down here to the southeast and head into parts of Missouri. So something to pay attention to if you live in Missouri. Taking a look over here in this, the south central part here of the United States, look at this around 1 p.m. Scattered thunderstorms really going to be on the eastern part of Texas here that could possibly include the Dallas area later on this afternoon. But taking a look at this, we can see as we head into the evening hours, very prolonged little bit of a line here from scattered showers and thunderstorms. That's going to be continuing on right now. That will eventually make its way down here to the southeast and kind of just make its way here through Texas, and that could bring some pretty big thunderstorms here into the Oklahoma region and maybe even some over here in the central western part of Texas. That could be something to pay attention to. Northeast, obviously very quiet due to that high pressure. We do have some rain continuing on over here in parts of Maine, as well as in Vermont and Delaware. We could be seeing some of that, as that rain will be kind of moving off to the northeast and kind of making its way out and starts to clear up as we head into the overnight hours later on this, just today, throughout Saturday. Taking a look at the southeast, we can obviously see a lot of scattered showers, some rainfall continuing on over here. Parts of South Carolina and Georgia are being impacted by this, as well as parts of the Florida Panhandle, where we're going to be seeing that. And we definitely know for the Labor Day weekend, the Florida Peninsula is definitely going to be getting some of that heavy rainfall. We kind of can see right here. Eventually, maybe as we head into the overnight hours, some more storms could be right off the coast here of Florida, and that will eventually make its way off to the east as we have that cold front kind of coming down. So possible some cool temperatures continuing on over here in that region up for the northern part of the United States. Taking a look here at the Eastern Pacific from the National Hurricane Center, what are we looking at here? So we have an 80% chance. This is our main area of development right here that we want to pay attention to right here. This is Invest 93. We're continuing to see some, shower thunderstorm activity associated with the low pressure system right here. We're expecting this to kind of head off to the west here, not right into the Hawaiian Islands. Really going to miss the Hawaiian Islands, but the big question is how far south does it go? We do have a high pressure that will kind of be blocking it from going to the north. So we're going to be seeing a very, very westward track with this storm. But obviously the big question is whatever the intensity is, could we see maybe a possible closer possibility here for Hawaii or lower? It's the Euro's bringing it closer to the Hawaiian Islands more than the GFS. So big questions on the table. Now we have an 80% chance for this one here, a tropical wave. This has the possibility. We have some models kind of bringing it up here up to the north. So that's something to pay attention to as we head into those days, into the next couple of days. Taking a look here at the Atlantic, we have one area of interest right out here in the MDR. Models kind of bringing it up and maybe possibly getting pulled to the north here. So big questions are obviously on the table for this storm right here. 30% chance here right now, and the tropical wave hasn't even emerged off Africa yet. So we're going to continue to pay attention to that. Now taking a look here at the Pacific, there's that one area of interest. There's that low pressure. You can obviously see looking pretty organized this morning as it continues to move off to that westward motion there, but we kind of can see that spin that is also continuing. Now a tropical wave kind of still hanging out in this general area with a lot of convection this morning here, kind of paying attention to that as that will eventually make its way off. Now let's take a look at the GFS model, because this is something we want to continue to kind of look at right now. So there's the Hawaiian Islands that we could clearly see. Here is that tropical system right there. There's Invest 93. That's going to continue to move off to the west here according to the GFS. And you can see 989 millibar there, tropical system. We're going to be seeing that move off to the west here with the GFS. We could see that high pressure kind of builds in over here to the north of the islands, and that's what's going to kind of steer the storm off here to the west. Now you can see how far south it is here from the Hawaiian Islands, so still probably close enough to possibly bring some high rip currents, depending on how strong the system is. 992, so not too strong, but definitely maybe some beach conditions could really be impacted here for parts of the Hawaiian Islands, the big island right there. So that will continue to move off to the west there, but still possible high-end tropical storm could be expected south of the Hawaiian Islands according to the GFS. Now the Euro having a little bit of a different scenario here, maybe a high pressure not as strong, so kind of gives that a little bit more of a northwestward kind of jog there, west northwest, we kind of can see. So the GFS kind of brings it more just off to the west, while the Euro kind of brings it a little bit more up to the north, which could bring even more impacts here to the Hawaiian Islands with surf and beach conditions, but also bringing a possible slightly stronger system here of 988 millibars there. So that could really bring some of that surf here into the big island of Hawaii as well. Still have that general area of a high pressure, but not as strong as what the GFS is kind of saying. So that could be something to pay attention to as we head into that. Obviously, if you live in Hawaii, make sure you're keeping an eye on the National Hurricane Center on what they're saying. Now taking a look here at the Euro ensembles, what are we kind of looking at? Well, we can see here for the next 11 days, we're expecting the storm obviously to go south of Hawaii. So once again, we are not expecting a Hawaii landfall or even Hawaii being in the forecast cone when this storm forms. But it's the biggest thing is even though it's moving off down to the south and to the west, we could be seeing some pretty big conditions here for the beach. So it's something to pay attention to. Now, this system over here, the tropical wave that we're paying attention to, if we head a little bit farther out, maybe just maxing this out to 15 days, days, we can see some models do get pulled off to the north here. So the big question is, if this system does get pulled off to the north, that's going to bring a lot of heavy rainfall here to parts of maybe even Mexico and parts of maybe even Southern California. So big questions are on the table, but our main concern will be that system right there. Now let's jump over to the Atlantic side really quickly here. GFS model, we can clearly see not too much going on right now. We can see maybe the GFS picking up on a low pressure right off the east coast here of the United States. That's going to race off to the northeast there. Here's our tropical wave that we have marked by the National Hurricane Center, kind of moving off more to a northwestward motion there. We'll kind of wobble a little bit here according to the GFS model run, and then really just dissipates and dies. Now the European model has a little bit more of a definitely different scenario, definitely a little bit stronger at this time here according to the European model. You have the high pressure up here, so that's kind of a little bit, you know, of a different type of scenario than the GFS, because we're seeing, you know, as the GFS was moving it off this way, as it was pretty much not even a system according to the GFS, the European has it as a possible low-end tropical storm, maybe even a tropical depression moving through the Atlantic, and will eventually kind of make its way and then get pulled up to the north, and then possibly will get raced off to the northeast here. But obviously this is too far out to be telling any exact track of this storm, but right now the European pretty confident on it heading out to sea, so a lot to pay attention to when it comes to that. But obviously, no direct impacts to any landfall right now. No Hawaii threat exactly right now. The storm hasn't even formed, but definitely want to give you the latest information on that storm, just in case if we could be seeing some pretty big beach conditions there in the Hawaiian Islands. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Make sure to follow my X page down in the description if you have any questions. Also, leave any questions down in the comments, and I will answer them to the best I possibly can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and bye-bye.